Hi, and welcome to Star Lighthouse. I'm Prashant, and this is weekly reading for Sun, Moon, Venus rising in Scorpio. This is a general read, so please take all the messages that resonate with you and leave everything else behind. And if this reading does connect with you, there is an extension to it. The link for the extension is below in the description box. I hope you like the reading, and if you do, please do like, subscribe, and share. That would be very helpful. So Scorpio, how are you doing? How was your first week of December, or so far December for you? Hopefully you're able to get into some sort of holiday spirit. Deep behind this year, get into that mood that you can leave behind this year and move to a new one. Maybe take time to just even journal your experience for this year and see what you might have had gone through. Just like a quick snapshot of it. Alright, Scorpio, let's focus on the question that brought you to this reading. The anxiety that's keeping you awake. Take a deep breath. Exhale and let everything else go. Just that question in your mind, and let's see if this reading has an answer for you. Ace of Chalices. Looking to find self-trust, self-love, self-validation. Being blocked by Five of Swords, mental conflict, or it could actually be an external chaos too. But there's a lot of thinking going on, a lot of even inner chaos going on that is also, and actually that's often a result where we struggle with our own validation, we struggle with our own affirmation of our beliefs. In those moments especially, it feels like it's hard to find that inner trust, and the mental conflict is hard to break through it. Past situations, Two of Chalices. So it could be a relationship broke up. Seems like a family relationship, or even sort of a love relationship broke up, and that has pushed you inside of conflict in your mind, second guessing yourself every time. Let's see what's going on else. Mind's ambition, Six of Wands, Heart's desire, Ace of Coins. So it could also be, it might not just be some sort of a personal relationship, it actually could be a professional relationship. And so that's, in the past I was just talking about how Five of Wands is a lot about conflict, and this seems to be an external conflict where a professional relationship is breaking off and you are going through even the mental chaos, and validation. Could be a partnership broke off, you're breaking off from a partnership, or you're breaking off from a team and you're moving towards something which is better for you, probably solo, or even a more close-knit group which has more security in it. Six of Wands is a card that points towards getting out of that conflict in a way that it also appraises your social recognition. What I mean by that is handling in a conflict, being in a conflict, almost everyone once or twice in life, or even more, would go through that experience. But coming out of that conflict without even hurting other person's feeling, or finding a diplomatic navigation solution to it, not only allows you to take less emotional and psychological brunt, also it creates that awareness about you in people, social recognition appraises because people realize now you can truly take charge of any difficult situation, because you can master your own mental conflict, and also you can navigate troubled diplomatic conflicts. And your heart is hoping for Ace of Pentacles. So it seems like you're going through that conflict right now and you want to get out of it, but at the other side, what you're hoping for is social recognition and Ace of Pentacles. So let's see what's else in this process, suggestion about it, and let's see future possibilities. Empress. So future possibility is, once you get out of this stage, the social, and hopefully that you get out of in a very innovative navigational way where you can navigate the conversation and keep the brunt of that conflict to a very low. The social recognition appraisal you will get would bring in so many abundant opportunities that identifying Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles is the opportunity that displays your ability to the fullest. You might not just find Ace of Pentacles, you might find an abundant financial and supportive system that would take you to, in a future, like an Empress state where you can build that kind of system by yourself and help others too. So an understanding from that is that when you are dealing with this conflict that you are going through in this moment, especially with the other person, keeping yourself grounded, not getting emotionally charged, especially if a negative comment or an action is sent towards you, specifically by the person you're breaking off in this moment. It's important to understand for us that when you're breaking off from any sort of a relationship, the other person, just like you, might have a tendency to overreact on the emotional trauma that you go through. Not being aware of that emotional trauma would only create future problems. So in this moment, when you feel that emotional trauma, you have to truly acknowledge, yes, something is breaking off. Yes, your mind was attached to it. Let's learn why it broke off rather than acting because of these emotional traumas or the emotions that got hurt because the attachment got broken off. And that attachment going broken off has also created a lot of self-trust issues, self-ego issue within you. A conflict, whoever, on whatever side you're on in a conflict, your ego will always take a hit. For a thriving ego, you always need peace around. When there is a conflict, irrespective if you're on the winning side or on the losing side of the conflict, your ego always takes a hit. Because now your ego starts anticipating there will be no peace, and it by itself becomes anxious. So, understanding what went wrong, not completely blaming yourself, rather being compassionate too. Going through mental conflicts, chaos, emotionally, psychologically, because of that lost relationship, it's important that you don't keep delving into that. Rather, you focus that you are going to become an Empress in the future. Once you navigate that difficulty, the right opportunities would come towards you. The right people would come towards you. Suggested advice: Ten of Swords, a painful conclusion, and context for this advice. Star. So, it's literally pointing towards that this painful conclusion was for a reason. There was something hidden within you that you truly didn't possibly understood. It might not be the fault of that relationship, but that old situation you were in was hiding your true talent. The old professional situation you were in was hiding your true abilities and talent. Say if you were in a like software job, or it could be that you're better at analytics by itself than creating analytical software. And you might, if you have not gone through that kind of training in an academic scenario, you might not truly believe that you have that talent within you, let alone believing that talent by itself is your star power. It's by itself is your authentic power. So that's an example that we have an ability in ourselves to believe that if we have not done something according to the system we grew up with. So for example, most of us grew up with a sort of an academic structure. So if we haven't experienced any sort of a educational scenario for any ability in us from that any sort of an academic system, we have a tendency to believe that that skill by itself is not for abundance, rather it's just a hobby, rather it's just a side thing we do for fun. But that's where the other part is, like the things you do for fun are the abilities that truly make you the star. Most of the athletes you would hear, they always talk about how they keep playing the sport because it's fun, because that what truly, like enjoying that sport, what truly makes them the star. So you have to understand that this conclusion, this loss of that relationship, if that's what you stuck about, or that loss of that profession, or you being pushed out of it in this situation to become this empress, the reason for that is you somehow have been neglecting that star ability here. You somehow have been overlooking that. And now you have been either pushed into the situation or that relationship has been broken off so that you can find yourself into this new space. The journey by itself might be difficult. That's what Ten of Swords is pointing towards, that it would be a painful understanding. A painful understanding not just about the loss of that relationship or a lot of relationship if this professional settings you're talking about, but understanding why you had previously gotten stuck in that scenario. This is a lot about self-growth. All those 10 swords are like basically, or 9 swords are basically inserted in your spine. Now you have to start taking them one by one out. Once you start doing that, they would be painful understandings of what you were doing wrong about yourself as to not being able to display the star. You should not fear this painful transition or any psychological backlash that you might feel from your own self as to why you didn't showcase yourself as a star in the past. You should not fear it, because this transition process would truly allow you to understand the ability of this power. You going through the emotional understanding of it, the psychological understanding of it, would allow you to understand like this, the ability of the star power. The power that you've been hiding inside. And this transition process is in a way just trying to, the academic teaching that you always hope for this ability to be showcased. Now this transition process would become your school. And you yourself your own teacher by learning from your experience. And constantly, instead of fearing failure, learning, like trying to understand logically why you failed, understand the data points behind it, analyze it, and ingest it. Hopes and fears. So daydreaming energy and potential outcome, judgment. So actually, it seems like that daydreaming energy would be really healthy, especially in the moments when you start unwinding yourself, start taking those swords inserted in your spine. This daydreaming energy, when you feel that guilt as to why you could not truly shine for yourself, why there could be no judgment for yourself in the past, it's still in the future. Why you could not do that in the past, in those moments, rather than giving too much into the guilt, reverse your emotion, the new understanding, the new belief about yourself, take that new understanding about yourself and dream. It's a very healthy break off from over guilting ourselves. It's a very human tendency to over guilt ourselves. We see a problem in us and then we say, why didn't we take any action about it? And rather than taking action about it right in this moment, because we are so stuck as why could not we do this in the past, we even cannot act in the present. And this thing then becomes a future, and then we start procrastinating about it because it's like we have never done it. Now this experience and the timeline keeps shifting, but we still have to do it. So that's why I don't drag it back into the present instead of sending it to a procrastinated future. Drag it back into the present. We somehow believed in the past that we needed this academic teaching or this schooling for us to go through to believe in our ability. So let's drag that thing in the present. Let's become our own teacher. We understand we might be grown up enough to not possibly go back into a school. So let's become our own teacher. Let's start trying to see the opportunities we need to showcase our ability. Daydreaming helps there. Daydreaming allows you to possibly fantasize the future, and then your own mind does a reality check about it. While you're unwinding, while you're learning about your own self, stop worrying about how abundant your future will or will not be. Just fantasize about it. It might sound like a really funny suggestion, especially as a grown-up adult, but to see yourself as an empress, which you might have never visualized yourself as, it's really important that you start believing that dreams do become reality. If the life so far taught you differently, this reading is to make you understand differently. Previously, you could not meet your dreams because you were not using the authentic ability that you were given, bestowed with. And now you have been pushed into the situation where the past is getting over with. You need to learn how to navigate the conflict, get out of that, start asking yourself tough questions as to why you were stuck in that situation. This transition period, this time period, is all about you growing rather than you being focused about the abundance coming to you. If survivability becomes an issue, just trust the system will support you. This time is all about you improving yourself, becoming your own teacher, psychologically and emotionally getting strong and confident as to who and what your identity is, and then you can go out and express it. During the transition period, dreams does allow you to really visualize and create a perspective of that future self of you, so that in a conscious reality you can approach it. You will approach it, judgment is in your card. So make this transition process really meticulously. Don't overpush it. Being meticulous would also allow you to navigate that difficult conversation that might be coming or still might be looming on your head about releasing that old once for and all. Reminiscing about it in any possible way, good or negative, should be released. Rather, you should focus on whenever those thoughts come up as to what lesson they're trying to tell you, because it's something about you yourself you have been telling yourself as a lie because you could not have in the past showcase these authentic ability in you and chase your dreams. Being a grown-up adult, now you have stopped believing in your dreams. So let's re-alter ourselves a little bit. Not worry about the opportunities, things would come along your way. Focus on navigating the difficult conversation, learning why you were stuck in that old way, and how you can psychologically improve. Then, how to keep focusing and growing that unique talent within you that truly showcases your identity, truly make you appear who you want to be. That perception can be formed through dream stages, believing that you have a lot of ability, you are a true provisional empress self. All of that would recreate a positive image of yours inside your mind, and then you can approach it. Scorpio, I hope you believe you're truly powerful and you make this transition. If this reading resonated with you, there is an extended to it. In the extended, I would further look at how to balance your emotions when you're navigating that conversation, getting out of the old. Suggestions from Oracle about how to manifest the new world when you're transitioning and how to truly believe in your star power. Timing related to Six of Wands, the opportunities that would come to you after your social appraisal. All of that is in the extended. The link for extended is below in the description box. Scorpio, I hope you liked the reading, and if you did, please do like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for joining me, and have an amazing week.